Guys, Robert1 here, and today I am doing the Future of Yu-Gi-Oh on my channel as always, because I always do those on a Monday. And for you guys who have not seen the Future of Yu-Gi-Oh before, this is where I talk about cards, archetypes, decks, and all sorts of things that I think will be good in the future of Yu-Gi-Oh, what's good in the current meta, all sorts of things. And yeah, so today I'm going to be talking about two cards. One that I didn't even know existed till Death Pro updated, and another that I believe is going to be in the new Yu-Gi-Oh movie. So let's get talking about this. So the first card we're talking about is Odd Eyes Persona Dragon. Now this is the card that I didn't actually know about until a little while ago this morning. So let's get into this. I don't know what it does yet, but it looks to be really good. And it's a scale 1, so that could be pretty decent for the deck. Just wish it was a higher level, so let's get into it. Now, Odd Eyes Persona Dragon is a dark level 5 dragon pendulum effect monster with 1200 attack, 2400 defense. So it's got a butt and 1200 attack. That's not really great. It kind of reminds me of Space Gazer or whatever it is, though the old let's just get this up. I don't know why Deep Sea Diver's on there. Let's find out. Because it's got the same stats as another one that we used to have and it was one of the first pendulum monsters to go along with Odd Eyes. Yeah, it was Stargazer Magician. So it's got the same stats as Stargazer Magician. So because this has the same stats as Stargazer Magicians, could we get one with the same stats as Time Gazer Magician? Because if we get a scale 8 with Time Gazer as an Odd Eyes monster, that'd be really cool. That's the only problem I see with this Odd Eyes, because if it's not a scale 8. Because if it was, then it would be able to work in my Odd Eyes Magician deck, and that'd just be awesome. But yeah, that's not the point why we're talking about it. Let's get on to its effect. Now, its effect is, once per turn during the end phase, if your opponent activated a card or effect that targeted exactly one Odd Eyes Pendulum monster this turn, while you controlled it, special summon this card from your Pendulum Zone, and if you do, place one face-up Odd Eyes Pendulum monster from your extra deck in your Pendulum Zone, except Odd Eyes Persona Dragon. Now that effect is okay, I would say, because there's a lot of Odd Eyes Performer Power. There's a lot of Odd Eyes Pendulum monsters now. We've got Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, the Odd Eyes Phoenix, the Odd Eyes Unicorn. We're getting all this new Odd Eyes support, so that's pretty good. The only bad thing about this effect is it has to be during the end phase, and it can only target exactly one Odd Eyes Pendulum monster for it to go through. So that's a bad thing about its effects, because there's not really many cards, spell cards or monster effects that target exactly one card nowadays. So I guess because we got like stuff like Dark Horror and Raigeki and they don't target, so that doesn't really help. I guess Castel would be the only time this card would really be used. But yeah, that's not really a good effect. It's an okay effect. It's decent. Maybe we'll get something in the future that targets cards, singular cards, other than Castel. But yeah, it's an okay card. So let's get on to its other effect, which its monster effect, which is once per turn during either player's turn, you can. It's just part of its cutoff because of this bar. You can target one face-up monster on the field that was special summoned from the extra deck, negate its effects until the end of this turn. Now that effect's really good. Because when you think about it, practically all the decks in the meta, except for Monarchs obviously, revolve around the extra deck. Well, Cosmos don't really revolve around the extra deck, but they still do use their extra deck, so that's kind of a thing as well. But yeah, a lot of the decks like Draco Pals, Odd Eyes Magicians itself, Magicians in general, What other decks? Raid Raptors, the Great Magnus deck. Those all revolve around XC summoning stuff. We've even got stuff like Yang Zings, which is coming up again, because I've been seeing Yang Zing players come up again because Yang Zing's actually a decent deck still. Plus, against the deck that would Pendulum Summon, because if they Pendulum Summon, if Draco Powers Pendulum Summon their Sorcerer from the X deck, this can negate that effect, which is also very good as well. But that's probably the better effect of it. I would say this card isn't going to be a really good card, but it could be a decent card to run at 1. Purely because it's targeting an Odd Eyes monster with its Pendulum Scale, and negating stuff in the X deck is really good. I would say if it was a level 7, it would be used more. Because then you can use it in rank 7 Pendulum decks, which would be really good. But they made it at level 5, so it's not as good as it should be. It could have been better, so I wouldn't say it's a really good card, but I would say it's an okay card. So yeah, Odd Eyes Persona Dragon is a decent card. It's not terrible, but it's not good either. So it's somewhere in the middle there. But I'm sure someone will find a way to make this card really good. So let's get on to the next card, which is Clear Kuriboh. We're getting more Kuriboh cards! Yes! Going in my Kuriboh collection. Oh, and if you guys want to see my collection by now, I might do a video on that if you would like it. But yeah, let's get on with this Clear Kuriboh. And I think that, guys, this is going to be in the movie next month, because it does look like it would be in the movie, because it is Kuriboh. And we have also recently seen the new artworks for the Blue Eyes and Dark Magician cards, which is really cool. So yeah, Clear Kuriboh. It's a level 1 light monster, fairy effect, 300 attack, 200 defense, same stats as a Kuriboh monster, obviously. Its effect is, during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect that would inflict damage, you can discard this card and negate the activation. That's not really good, because it's effect damage, and it has to be by a monster's effect damage, so it's not really that great, because there's not really a lot of monsters in this game that would damage you other than Gargoyle Cowboy, to my knowledge, so there's not really any point in that. And there's not much point to it if it was an attack battle damage, it would be okay, because then you could use it, because I believe it has a graveyard effect as well, which we'll get onto in a second. But it's also the fact it does negate the activation, but it doesn't negate and destroy. Because if this card negated and destroyed, I would say it would be a better card. Because negating the activation would mean if the card says it cannot be activated once per turn, and then if you're negating that activation, then you could just use the effect again if it just says negate activation instead of use. So I would have to say Clear Kuriboh. That effect of Clear Kuriboh isn't good, so I wouldn't consider this card to be a good card yet. But let's get on to this next effect, because it might be better, because I believe it's a graveyard effect. Okay, when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard, draw one card, and if it is a monster, you can special summon it, then change the attack target to that monster. You can only use this effect of Clear Kuriboh once per turn. Now that effect is really good, because you could be like, oh, you're attacking me, banish, I get a +1, and if it's a monster, I can special summon it. So if your opponent's attacking you with a really big monster, then you could be like, oh, well, I've drawn a bigger monster, possibly, special summon it, and then you're saved. Or even if it's or if even it can save your life, because that's a really good effect, I would think. And this card could be used in like stuff like Lightsworn. Yes, I said Lightsworn, because that is a possibility. It could be used in stuff like Burning Abyss. It could be used in stuff like Phantom Knights that use Dante a lot. It can be used in so much, and it's just a very good card. That effect is really good, and I have to say this card is a really good card to be used. So I'll say this is one of the better cards coming out of the movie so far. But yeah, that's a really great effect, and I have to admit, this is really good card. Its first effect isn't that great, but its second effect, I have to say, is really good. Because the cards we've seen so far that have graveyard effects when people attack weren't as good as this. We had Necro Gardener negate an attack. We had Electromagnetic Turtle negate the battle phase. Now they were amazing cards. Well, the Electromagnetic Turtle was Necro Gardener wasn't really that great. But yeah, that's a really good effect, and I have to say Clear Kuriboh is an amazing card to be used. So this card can be a really good card in my opinion, and it will be great to use in the future. So yeah, guys, tell me what you thought of these two cards. Tell me if you think they'll have any potential in the meta. And please, like, comment, and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching this video, and I'm signing out.